Hello, I'm just going to talk about my vision board for Persepolis. So it's actually two vision boards, and I chose to do that because this book is about Marjane's entire childhood. So it starts off from when she's like maybe 4 or 5 years old, and all the way to when she's like our age, like in her teens. So obviously throughout the book, she grows up, and her ideas and her mindset changes a lot. So that's why I felt that it would be best to compile her vision board into two different ones to showcase the change of her character. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly give some context to what these pictures are and why I chose them, but I won't go into too much detail since I will have done that in my rationale. All right, so in the top left hand, there's a picture of Hussein Fatimi, which was one of the revolutionists in Iran. He helped progress the country a lot. Next to him, you have some Iranian women celebrating their culture, which as a child she did. She was really in love with her culture. She cared about it. She talked about celebrating not the national holiday, the cultural holiday Nowruz. Next to that is a picture of her mother protesting. This was very significant to her as she was very proud of her mom because she spoke up for what was right and how she spoke against the government. Next to that, you have some chemistry. As you know, Marjane was very interested in chemistry as a child. She looked up to characters like Mary Curie and wanted to be like her one day. Next to that, you have some protests against the Shah. We know that Marjane was influenced by her parents, but also she knew that the Shah was not right. She was very against it. Then you have a picture of, back to the left, we have a picture of a little girl with her grandma, and Marjane loved her grandma a lot. And when she wanted to become a prophet, she had one of the commandments was that no old people would be in pain, which was because of her grandma. She had like some sort of knee problem. Okay, then now we get towards the center. We can see this duck, and next to the duck is Anush. Um, Anush was a very significant person in Marjane's life. Right, when she died, it was very hard for Marjane, and the duck is just one of the was just like the last serving reminder of him because when Uncle Anush was about to get executed, he could only have one visitor, and out of everyone that he could have chose, he chose Marjane, and he gifted Marjane, I believe, another duck. And also, when he got out of prison for the first time, he also gifted her a duck. So Anush was very significant in her life. Okay, moving on, we have some books. Marjane loved reading books as a small child. She was very smart, but even though not all the time, even though she didn't know what the books meant all the time. Okay, then you have Mary Curie, and then you have her and God. She had a very strong connection with God. She used to like talk to him in her room, kind of like imagining him and stuff like that. Okay, and then you have these two communist figures, Che Guevara uh, and Fidel Castro. Right? She read about them. She supported them, and I remember in the book she was basically dressing up as them. She looked up to them and what they stood for, and also you can see some books on Marxism and the communist flag, which she thought was very cool and she supported it greatly. And then you also have the 1980 Iranian flag. She was a patriot, I would say. Whenever like her country did anything good, she would be very proud. She was very proud of her country and very proud to be Iranian. Okay, so that is when she's a child, right? And I would say the turning point in her life is when Uncle Anush dies. She really is never the same after that. Like if you look at page 71 to 75, like in page 71, Marjane is like a small little girl, right? But you flip to 75 and she's grown up a lot. Maybe I would say like 2 3 years. So after that, like it was a very time for her. Okay, so now she's a teenager, and let's look at the things that Marjane likes or would like. So I'm just going to go left to right again. Okay, she was still like a patriot. She supported her country a lot, and you can see these F-14 fighter jets. She was very happy when they bombed Baghdad, right? She just likes her country a lot. Okay, and then you have this necklace with some barbed wire. So this is when she enters her like punk era. She starts listening to like punk music and rock music, as like any rebellious child would do at her age, right? So she really like associated herself with those things. She wore those type of clothes and listened to those type of musics, even though it was banned in her country because her country did not agree with the West. But she went out of her way to support these things, and that is why I found that it was important to add these images in her teenage teenage vision board. Okay, so the pictures are like there's a poster of Kim Wilde, a magazine cover of Kim Wilde, the necklace, some Iron Maiden tape, the jean jacket that she got a lot of trouble for wearing, the Nike sneakers, and a little poster of Punk's Not Dead. And of course, picture of a button of Michael Jackson, which she would have wore on her jacket. Okay, those were like very important in her life when she was a teen. Very significant to her. And then you have a picture. If you look at the bottom left, a picture of God. Right, he looks kind of upset. This is because after Anush died, God never appears in her life again, and you can see God kind of like upset or like sad. He's just wondering like where Marjane went, because I feel like Marjane stopped believing in God after Anush died, or just she just lost the connection she had once before. Okay, so she's a rebel. She just goes against societal norms, and what's interesting is her parents actually support her, which most parents would not do at that time, I believe. So that is very progressive of them. And so you can see her smoking, which when she smoked, that also was a turning point in her life, but I would say not as big as Uncle Anush dying. And the last image I have is of some Iranian protests against the veil. You can see all these women have their hair out, very free, and we know that Marjane was not really a big fan of the veil. She just felt upset or like offended whenever she had to wear it, which is understandable. I don't think anyone likes to be controlled, so obviously she would like to do that. And the last image I have is, sorry, I didn't go in order, but the last image I have is of the turquoise bracelet, which serves as a reminder of the atrocities that the Iraq government did against her neighbors. Right, she was very sad when she found that her Jewish neighbors had been bombed. It was just across the street of her, so that very easily could have been Marjane's house. So that's also like a very has a lot of sentimental value to her, as she was very struck by that. So yeah, that was my kind of quick analysis about the images that I chose to put in this vision board. Thank you for listening.